Elias, a seasoned journalist whose fingers had danced across countless keyboards, found profound satisfaction in the meticulous research and eloquent prose that defined his career. He was a respected figure within the hallowed halls of the newsroom, known for his insightful analysis and an uncanny ability to unearth the deepest human stories. For Elias, journalism was more than a profession. It was a sacred pursuit, a relentless quest to uncover truth and give voice to the voiceless, those often lost in the cacophony of daily headlines. His motivation was pure, driven by an unwavering belief in the power of narratives to shape understanding and foster empathy. Then the whispers began. They started subtly, mere murmurs in the digital ether, surfacing in fleeting news reports and online discussions. Advanced AI writing tools, the articles claimed, were poised to revolutionize content creation. Elias, ever the traditionalist, dismissed these early announcements as novelty, fleeting trends that posed no genuine threat to the nuanced craft of human creativity. He viewed them as mere tools, perhaps useful for mundane tasks, but certainly not replacements for the intricate dance of thought and emotion that fueled his own writing. The idea seemed almost absurd, a science fiction fantasy rather than an impending reality. His first tangible encounter with this burgeoning phenomenon arrived in the form of Maya, a younger, ambitious colleague whose energy crackled with the promise of the future. Maya, always eager to embrace efficiency and prove her worth, had begun experimenting with AI for basic article drafts. Her excitement was palpable, almost infectious, as she spoke of the AI's astonishing speed and ability to churn out content. Elias observed her with a complex mix of curiosity and a disdain he couldn't quite articulate. He saw her enthusiasm, yet also perceived a dangerous allure, a shortcut that might ultimately diminish the artistry of their shared profession. A seed of doubt, however, began to sprout. Mr. Thompson, their editor, a man perpetually driven by deadlines and the bottom line, started subtly pushing for faster content production across the board. During one of their weekly editorial meetings, Thompson, with an almost imperceptible shift in tone, introduced the idea of AI assistance to Elias. The suggestion hung in the air, a thinly veiled challenge to Elias's traditional, time-honored methods. Elias felt a prickle of unease, a cold sensation creeping up his spine. It was a subtle pressure, yet undeniably present, threatening to disrupt the very foundation of his journalistic ethos. The unsettling demonstration arrived a few days later. Maya, beaming with pride, showcased an AI-generated article that was, to Elias's considerable surprise, remarkably coherent and well-structured. The piece, while undeniably lacking the soul, the human resonance Elias strived for, was analytically sound and factually correct. It was a stark, undeniable testament to the AI's growing capability. Elias felt a profound chill, a cold dread that settled deep within him. This was more than a novelty. It was a formidable adversary, one that could mimic, if not yet truly replicate, the very essence of his work. The betrayal, or what felt like it, came swiftly. Thompson, addressing the entire newsroom, announced a new company-wide initiative, the full integration of AI across all departments. He lavished praise upon Maya for her early adoption and exemplary efficiency, holding her up as a model for the new era. Then his gaze fell upon Elias. He was tasked with collaborating with an AI, a directive that felt less like an invitation and more like a thinly veiled threat. Adapt or be left behind. Elias left Thompson's office, the weight of the future pressing down upon him like a physical burden. He questioned his own relevance, his very place in this rapidly changing world. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. The air in the newsroom, once vibrant with the clatter of keyboards and the murmur of human voices, now hummed with the quiet efficiency of machines. Elias, still reeling from Thompson's ultimatum, found himself face to face with Synapse, the AI designated as his new collaborator. Initially, his attempts to work with it were fraught with frustration. The AI, with its cold algorithmic precision, felt utterly alien to his intuitive, human-centered approach. He watched, almost mesmerized, as Synapse processed vast oceans of data in mere seconds, generating articles at a speed that defied human comprehension. It was presented as an indispensable tool, the new cornerstone of the modern newsroom, its output flawless in its factual accuracy and structural integrity. Yet for Elias, something vital was missing. He struggled desperately to imbue his AI-assisted articles with the human touch, the emotional depth that had always been his hallmark. His carefully crafted prose, when merged with Synapse's sterile output, felt hollow, stripped of its essence. Each edited piece, a hybrid of man and machine, seemed to lose the unique cadence of his voice, the subtle nuances that conveyed genuine feeling. He felt his unique journalistic identity being diluted, his craft diminishing into mere data entry, a shadow of its former self. The joy he once derived from writing was replaced by a gnawing sense of artistic erosion. The rivalry with Maya, once a simmering undercurrent, now deepened into a stark contrast. She, fully embracing Synapse, churned out content at an astonishing rate, her byline appearing with increasing frequency. Thompson, ever the pragmatist, lauded her efficiency, holding her up as the poster child for the newsroom's AI-driven future. Maya, in turn, began to view Elias with a mixture of pity and thinly veiled contempt, seeing him as an old-fashioned relic, an obstacle to the inevitable march of progress. She spoke of him as resistant, unwilling to adapt. Elias, however, saw her as naive, blindly following a path that sacrificed the profound richness of human storytelling for the fleeting allure of speed and quantity. He believed she was trading soul for statistics. This period plunged Elias into a profound personal crisis. He began to question his entire career, the very purpose that had driven him for decades. The industry he had dedicated his life to, the one he believed in so fiercely, seemed to be betraying him, casting aside the very values he held dear. A deep sense of disillusionment settled upon him, a heavy shroud that dimmed his usually bright spirit. His family, particularly his wife, noticed his growing distress, the way his passion for his work seemed to wane. Replaced by a quiet, brooding melancholy, he spent evenings staring blankly at his screen, the words refusing to come, his mind a battlefield of self-doubt. Then, amidst this encroaching despair, a redemptive spark flickered. While sifting through old files, a forgotten digital folder caught his eye. Inside lay the unfinished draft of a deeply personal story, a human interest piece he had been working on for years, detailing the incredible resilience of a small community facing overwhelming adversity. It was a narrative woven from countless interviews, shared tears, and quiet triumphs. A story steeped in empathy and lived experience. A sudden profound realization washed over him. This was a story Synapse could never truly tell. The AI could process facts, synthesize data, but it could not feel, could not understand the unspoken courage, the quiet dignity of the human spirit. His motivation shifted dramatically. It was no longer just about surviving, but about proving the irreplaceable value of humanity, the enduring power of a story told with heart. The inevitable confrontation arrived. Thompson, his face grim, called Elias into his office. The editor's words were direct, uncompromising. "Elias," he began, his voice devoid of its usual warmth, "Synapse's metrics are undeniable. Its efficiency, its cost-effectiveness. It's simply superior. You must fully embrace the AI, integrate it into every aspect of your work, or face redundancy." The words hung heavy in the air, a final stark choice. Thompson pointed to the cold, hard data, the irrefutable evidence of Synapse's superior performance. But as Thompson spoke, Elias made a silent, defiant decision. He would write his personal story, his way, independently of Synapse, as a last stand, a testament to what truly mattered. This would be his final, desperate gambit. Elias dedicated himself entirely to his story, working tirelessly, the faint glow of his screen illuminating his determined face late into the night. Every word became a deliberate act of defiance against the encroaching tide of automation. He poured his soul into each sentence, meticulously crafting narratives that breathed with life, imbued with the raw emotion and intricate complexities that only a human could truly comprehend. He ignored the incessant pressure to conform, the subtle whispers of his impending obsolescence that echoed through the newsroom. This was not merely an article, it was a testament, a deeply personal and fervent declaration of his unwavering belief in the irreplaceable power of human connection, the very essence of storytelling. He felt a resurgence of purpose, a fire rekindled within him, driving him forward with an almost desperate urgency. Meanwhile, the newsroom buzzed with the apparent triumph of Synapse. Its latest achievements were heralded daily, its ability to generate breaking news with unprecedented speed and accuracy becoming the new benchmark. Maya, now firmly at the forefront of this AI revolution, basked in the accolades, her career soaring to dizzying new heights. She was the embodiment of the future, lauded by Thompson and admired by many of their younger colleagues. Elias, in stark contrast, seemed to be fading into obscurity, a relic of a bygone era, his quiet dedication overshadowed by the machine's relentless efficiency. He worked in a self-imposed bubble, the clamor of Synapse's success barely penetrating his focus. Then came the unveiling. Elias published his deeply personal piece, not through the company's sterile AI-driven channels, but independently, leveraging a small, respected online platform he had cultivated over the years. The article, titled "Echoes of Resilience, the Unbreakable Spirit of Willow Creek," was a poignant exploration of loss, community, and unwavering hope. It resonated deeply with readers, striking an emotional chord that Synapse's cold algorithms could never hope to reach. The raw honesty, the vivid human experiences, and the empathetic prose captivated audiences. It went viral almost instantaneously, spreading like wildfire across social media, a stark and undeniable contrast to the sterile, though efficient, AI-generated content that dominated the mainstream news cycle. Comments poured in, praising its authenticity, its heart, its profound humanity. Thompson was utterly blindsided by the public's overwhelming positive response to Elias's human story. The sheer volume of engagement, the heartfelt comments, the shared experiences. It was unlike anything the company's AI-generated articles had ever achieved. Readers expressed an almost desperate longing for authentic, emotionally resonant narratives, stories that reminded them of their shared humanity. The company's meticulously crafted, AI-generated content, once hailed as the pinnacle of efficiency, suddenly felt hollow, superficial, and ultimately forgettable in comparison to Elias's profound impact. The metrics, which Thompson so revered, now told a different story, one of human connection triumphing over algorithmic precision. Thompson, his usual stoic demeanor visibly ruffled, confronted Elias. But it was not with anger. Instead, there was a newfound understanding in his eyes, a glimmer of recognition for the invaluable human element he had almost discarded. He realized the true, immeasurable value of Elias's unique perspective, his emotional depth, and his ability to connect with an audience on a deeply personal level. Maya, witnessing the profound and widespread impact of Elias's work, also began to question her own path. The limitations of pure efficiency, of content devoid of genuine soul, became painfully clear. The accolades she had received now felt somewhat hollow, lacking the genuine resonance Elias had effortlessly achieved. In the aftermath, a new horizon unfolded for Elias. Thompson, humbled and enlightened, offered him a new, pivotal role. It was a position focused on mentoring, on guiding a new generation of human storytellers, teaching them to work with technology, to harness its power to amplify human narratives, rather than be replaced by it. Elias became a vital bridge between human creativity and technological advancement, a beacon in a rapidly evolving industry. He was no longer fearing the machine. Instead, he embraced a future where technology served as a powerful tool to enhance, not diminish, human talent. His job was not lost. It had evolved, becoming more vital, more meaningful than ever before, cementing his legacy as a guardian of the human story.